I really want to get the garden started this year, but as you can see, I've still got a foot plus of snow on our main crop garden, and it is, look at that, it is packed. This isn't going away fast, and we're already at the end of March. I think we're gonna have a late start here, but I'm itching for some warm sunshine and some green vegetables. So I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. While the ground is frozen, of course, we always get our starts going inside, and these are actually all cool season starts to help us get a jump on the season. And we've got mustards and some different types of Asian greens, choys. All these things are great, but this season's really coming on late, and even getting these out is going to be a challenge. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do there to get these going, but these still aren't satisfying my itch for tomatoes and peppers. I'm thinking like salsa, something that's really warming. Let me show you what we're gonna do here, and then I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna get a salsa garden started now. This is an area we've prepped to really help us get a jump on the season. When we got here, this was just a useless slope. We terraced these, and they're facing south and southwest, and so it's melting much faster than everything else out there. And then what we're doing even to accelerate it is this black plastic out here to warm the soil up. We actually put this in over the snow, which has helped melt the snow, and that's gonna help us get a really good jump on the season. However, that's not gonna get me tomatoes and peppers by, June. I'm gonna try something that I've done before, but not with a salsa garden. I'm gonna get something started inside and see if I can work towards getting tomatoes and peppers and some fresh salsa, maybe before I even get my main crop tomatoes out into that garden. My secret weapon for getting tomatoes, hopefully before I can even plant my main crop tomatoes outside, that is the GreenStalk Vertical Planting System. And you guys have probably seen these. If not, you're gonna love this. I've done a demonstration with one of these before on a salad garden, which is really cool. We'll link to that video for you. This is also a wonderful small scale gardening system that's vertical, so you can grow more in it. It's portable, as you'll see. You can roll it around on wheels to move it around and help get good sun exposure, or put it in different places. And so where this really shines is for those of you that don't have a lot of space and you don't have 13 people to feed like I do. This is great for a small family. You can have a few of these. GreenStalk was gracious enough right now to send us a new one so I could actually unbox this for you and just talk you through it. So thank you, GreenStalk. I appreciate that, and I know everybody else out there does as well. You guys will link to GreenStalk. I want you to go check them out. Let's see what we have here. This is gonna go on top. This is actually the watering bin, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. We have what looks like a base. We've got all our wheels. We're gonna want to put that together in a minute. These distribute the water. One of the really cool things about the GreenStalk compared to other vertical systems is that they have a patented design that helps make sure that the water waters evenly through every stage of the GreenStalk instead of getting super wet at top, super dry at the bottom. That's the common problem with these vertical planters. And some information on the green. Hey, they even sent us some seeds. We're not gonna use the seeds right now, but that's really cool. They're a wonderful family, you guys. They're a small homesteading family. And then we have, these are the actual planters. These are actual pots, right? For those of you, and I know a lot of people in our audience are doing pot gardening because of the space. This is really gonna up your game for pot gardening. These things just stack on top of each other. We've got 5 pots they're gonna stack. They make a 5-pot system and a 7-pot system. The 5-pot system is really good for things, bigger plants like tomatoes and peppers and tomatillos like I'm gonna do today. The 7-pot gives you more pots but shallower depth, and it's great for herbs, leafy greens. This is the base. One of the things I love about this is it's on wheels. The wheels are really important for a pot type garden or a vertical garden, because you do have to move it around to get it proper light exposure. These wheels make it super easy, but they're also super easy to put together. They just plug right in here. Check that out. That makes this thing mobile. Our first pot is going to go in. And the way I like to put these together is to build them one tier at a time and get them planted. It's a little easier to do the planting. We're gonna put some soil in. Ideally, I would rather use my own soil that I've made here at the house. That's best, but mine is both frozen and under a lot of snow, so that's just not gonna serve very well. Make sure you're getting a good quality potting soil. Your soil is everything. Always do your best to source the best soil that you can. One of the issues that you have with a potting system like this is obviously the roots in the plant can only go so far. Those roots can't keep reaching out to find more nutrients, to find more water, right? So you gotta take a little more care of these, and getting the best quality soil that you can get to help this plant get through its life cycle is really, really important. Make sure you don't have large clumps in here. Definitely a solid cubic foot, maybe a little more. We want the soil to go all the way to the top. They're serious about this. Every single one of these, fill it all the way to the top. Now we gotta talk strategy a little bit. You gotta think about the size of your plants, right? The cilantro and the onions should probably go up a little bit higher, and tomatoes a little bit lower. I think I'm gonna do tomatillos in the bottom. Then I'm gonna do tomatoes, then probably peppers, and I'll work my way up to cilantro and onions. So just like in a main crop garden, you're kind of thinking about where you're putting things, making sure everything's getting sunlight and one thing isn't crowding out another. We're gonna start with tomatillos at the base. I'm gonna get your plant in. I like to lean it out a little bit, lightly compress, and then I'm just gonna test. We wanna make sure it's not in the way of the next one. This has these little grooves and they rest in here. And it's gonna go something like that. See, that's pretty good right there. It could even come out to the edge just a little bit more. We're getting this filled up. I'm gonna level the soil off a little, mound it up in the middle. Before we go on to the next step, we wanna go ahead and water these. And if you are like in a city, in a small space, I would recommend trying to filter your water. You don't want the chlorine and the fluoride in here. The plants, they'll get by, but they don't like it as much. I've seen people experiment with that. We're blessed, we've got good spring water here. Because we've got to put on our little water catchment system before we put the next layer on. That's what these guys are for right here. They're gonna catch the water and help it distribute evenly. They fit right over the hole here. That water comes down and then it's got little holes in it that it slowly releases the water, so that water has time to move via capillary action right through your soil. Okay, that is tier 1. Right. Now, gotta be careful here. You just want to get it lined up and make sure you're not squishing any plants. All right, I'm getting hot doing all this hard work. Don't forget the little cap right here. I put this on. I don't think they tell you to do that, but sure gonna help from getting soil down into your little watering pot. Let's do tomatoes next. These early girls here are a hybrid tomato. And they suit my purposes well right now because I've worked with these tomatoes off and on for over 30 years, and they're not a glacier tomato, but they do get going pretty good and do well and yield early. Easy, easy. Don't forget to take off your base leaves and bury them a little bit deeper. And that actually, burying them a little deeper can get their root base going faster and give them a little jump on things. Lightly compact. You don't want air bubbles down in there. These guys in, get that soil spread out. We're gonna water again. Really important, these roots have water right away. Take off our little plug. Put in our watering bowl. Let's go to the next level. Don't squish your plants. Right. I like it. I think I want to do peppers next. And I like some heat, so I know they got me a couple different kinds of peppers, but I'm gonna go for the jalapenos. Ooh-wee, that's dry. Level 3, we've got jalapenos in. So now I've got tomatillos, tomatoes, and jalapenos. We can get ready for the next level. Okay, a little watering tray that goes in here. You could go ahead and put this on. However, even for me, it's up pretty high to put the bag in. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and fill the bag down here on the ground. Now I am gonna go ahead and put this up here now before I plant, just because it's gonna be easier to work up here. We've got cilantro and onions left. I think I will go ahead and do the cilantro next. Now this is my version of a salsa garden, all the things I like in a salsa. You can change out the tomatillos and the tomatoes. You can do them together if you want, but I gotta have like cilantro, onions, peppers, and tomatoes or tomatillos in there as a base. We need to water, and you might have noticed that I forgot to water the layer down below. So no problem, you mess up like I do, you just go ahead and water it right here. Now this is not the way you're gonna generally water, but I do want these to get water right away, so it's not a problem. You'd have a hard time overwatering. It's gonna drain out if you get too much water in it, so don't stress about overwatering. Okay, last one. Definitely want to do this one down on the ground. And if you need some help, make sure you have a little, because this gets up a little high. We want to watch our plants. Okay, it's feeling pretty steady. Layer, look at this. Isn't this looking good? I am so excited. I've got a foot of snow on the ground outside, and I've got a garden going. Love it. Now these onions are a bunching onion. They're gonna do a lot better in this circumstance, so they're not gonna get big old bulbs. Probably 2 or 3 of them in each bay. Generally, I like to plant a little densely anyways, and then harvest a little bit, you know, as things are maturing. Sure smells good. Love the smell of those onions. This, we're almost there. We are ready to set our watering system up. I've got this little cap on here just so I don't get any soil down there. This is your water reservoir. It also just lines up on the top here. Little tabs right there. They just line in and fit in real nicely. And this is almost ready to water. So what GreenStalk suggests for watering is basically continually watering until you get water coming out of the bottom. And you can do that with a hose is the easiest way to do it, but we're inside, so I'm just gonna do it with a pitcher and fill it up. But before I do that, we wanna be able to see the water coming out. So we've gotta find the drain tube. It's nice, this thing is so maneuverable. There we are. Looks like there's actually a little water in there. Once you have this thing in place, we'll put a little bowl in here, and I'm gonna start filling up with water. This is a bit of soil. This is gonna take a bit of water, so doing it with a pitcher is gonna take a little while. You can see down here, we've got water coming out, plenty of water. I was maybe going a little fast because that is gonna overflow. Woohoo. We'll put it in there and water some starts. We topped this off with water. We did it with pitchers until the water started running out of here. I'm gonna take the water away. Now we're gonna get this thing into place. I do wanna get some of the soil out of the way so we don't gum up the wheels. here we go. We've got our salsa garden in place. Everything's planted. I want to put this in a nice, warm, sunny place. I've got a nice glass door back here we're going to put it by, and it's not too far away from the wood burning stove, which is going to provide a little bit of heat because everything in here really likes heat. And you do have to make sure the wheels are not locked. This moves pretty easily. It's tall, so you want to be careful with it. Now, what would be best is if you had direct sunlight for a good part of the day. We're going to get a little bit of that in the afternoon inside, not a ton, but it's pretty bright, as you can see. If you had like a corner spot, that would be even better. Or best is to just go outside. We're just not going to be able to do that for a few weeks before we can get it outside, and I want to get a jump start. So I've got good heat right here. The temperature is like the warmest spot on this side of the house. So soil is going to stay nice and warm. Plants are going to be happy. These guys all love heat. We've got good light out there, and we can leave it here until it warms up enough to start getting them outside. Couple things for maintenance that you're going to want to do. Obviously, only this side is getting exposure to the brightest light and the direct light when it's there, when that sun comes around. So you're going to want to turn this. This is super easy. This is very easy to turn. Ideally, you'd probably turn it, 3 times a day, but definitely at least once a day to give the plants different areas that brighter light. And you're going to want to watch the water. Like with anything, you want the soil to stay moist. There you go. There is an instant salsa garden. This is going to yield me some fresh eating way earlier than I'm going to get from my main crop garden. So it's a little bit of a teaser for us. Obviously, this household's big. It's not going to feed us that much. But man, if you're a small household and you don't have a lot of space, a few of these are great. You can get them going inside, or you can get them going right out on your porch or your deck. And you can do a lot with this. It's probably going to take 8 weeks to see what kind of yield we get. I'm pretty excited. Go check out the link to GreenStalk. If you don't have one of these yet, use our link. You guys do get a discount. We are an affiliate with GreenStalk. They give our subscribers a discount. So we'll get that in the notes for you. Go check this out. I think you're going to love this system, and I'd recommend getting 1 or 2 of these, and then even their other shallower one for some herbs or more leafy type vegetables. That's it, guys. We'll see you soon.